is formula good for? How long can breast milk be stored at room temperature? Can I refeed my infant a bottle that they didn't finish? If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Dr. E. I'm a board certified pediatrician and I'm also a mom. And these are all really great questions and questions that are really important. Formula or breast milk that isn't stored properly is a risk for developing bacteria, which can be harmful. It's really important to make sure that we're storing things properly. So we're going to talk about formula storage today and breast milk storage. I had to shift over my filming, so hopefully it didn't throw you off too much. So before we can talk about storage of breast milk and formula, I want to talk about sanitizing and cleaning. This goes hand in hand with the storage of formula and breast milk, and I wanted to touch on it here. There's so much marketing when it goes into sanitizing baby bottles and pacifiers and teethers and all of those types of things, and I want to clear the air on what is really medically necessary. So the first time that you get bottles and nipples and teethers and all of that, I think it's fine to sanitize them. Now, do you absolutely need to? Probably not, but I think it's safe and it's fine to sanitize once. However, after that, washing bottles, nipples, pacifiers with hot soapy water is completely effective and you don't have to sanitize every time. Now, if this is your second baby or you're using things that are borrowed from somebody else, it's important to get new nipples. The nipple part of the bottle should not be reused from baby to baby. However, the bottle parts can. So make sure that you get new nipples for the bottles, but besides that, you can reuse or use secondhand bottles just fine. All right, now that we talked about cleaning and sterilizing, let's talk about storage. We'll talk about formula storage first. So formula can be pre-made and kept in the refrigerator. Formula that's kept in the refrigerator is good for 24 hours. So you can make formula in batches for 24 hours and then just pour them into the bottles as you need them throughout the day. This is something that I hear families do frequently, and as long as you're not extending past that 24-hour mark, it's safe to do. However, once you give that bottle, it's important to use that bottle up within 2 hours. So if you start feeding your baby a bottle, they take 2 ounces out of the 3 ounces. That leftover 1 ounce should be used within the 2 hours. If it's beyond the 2-hour mark, there's some studies that show that there can be new bacteria harboring in that, and it's not safe to give. I will caveat all of this with there is not a ton of studies and scientific studies going on about infant formula storage or breast milk storage. So this is not guidelines that have been updated recently. This is not new cutting information. And so we kind of like to play it on the safe side and use the data that we have. However, it's probably erring on the safe side. So I did just want to mention that. All right, so we broke down the formula storage. Let's talk about breast milk. I think that this is a little bit more complicated since we can have frozen breast milk or fresh breast milk. So let's talk breast milk. I do find myself a little bit of a breast milk connoisseur after I had a 15-month-long breastfeeding journey, and so I feel like all of this information is very near and dear to my heart. So let's talk about freshly expressed breast milk first. Freshly expressed breast milk is good for 4 hours on the counter. So after you express the breast milk, you have 4 hours to do something with it. So whether you're gonna feed it to your baby, freeze it, put it in the fridge, you have 4 hours. Now on top of those 4 hours, if you choose to put it in the fridge, freshly expressed breast milk has a life of 4 days in the fridge. After 4 days in the fridge, you have to do something with it. So you either feed it to your baby or you can freeze it. So let's say you choose to freeze this breast milk. Once you freeze it, breast milk is good in the freezer for 6 months. Some sources will say up to 12 months if it's in a deep freeze. So that's kind of the caveat with that. So 6 to 12 months in the freezer. Now let's talk about breast milk that's frozen that we're choosing to thaw out and feed to our baby. So breast milk that has been thawed out, you have 24 hours to use this breast milk. So this is kind of the same as if you were to make that pitcher of formula. So don't thaw out more than you think your baby will use in 24 hours. Just like with the formula, if you're feeding your baby a bottle, your baby has 2 hours to finish that breast milk bottle. So if you have 3 ounces of breast milk in a bottle and you feed it to baby and they only take 2 ounces, they only have that 2 hours to take the full 3 ounces. Beyond that, you should really throw the breast milk away. Now, I know this can be very touchy, especially to moms who are lower on their breast milk supply. So that extra ounce, just because it's past the 2-hour mark, you shouldn't feed it to your baby, but you can do other things with it. So you can put it in a bath and have a soothing breast milk bath. So there's lots of different options. You can Google some things to use expired breast milk for. So don't throw it away, but definitely don't feed it to your baby after that 2-hour mark. My last bit of information is it's important to never refreeze milk that has been thawed. So if you thaw out milk and you thought you were going to use it and it's all thawed and you decided you didn't use it or you're not going to use it, you can't refreeze that milk. That creates a huge potential for bacteria to grow, and so we don't want to refreeze milk that was already frozen. So I know that this is a lot of information, and I'll write out some of the biggest parts down in the description box to kind of help have everything in one spot. When in doubt, look up the CDC guidelines for formula storage. There's also breast milk storage there, and definitely leave comments below if you have specific questions. Have you ever had to throw out a bottle of breast milk or a bottle of formula? Leave your experience in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next week.